This painting, the paint was very thin and it was a blowout. I was looking more for flowers, but this has come out to look more like a sea creature or a sea plant. And I like it because it's unique. It's colors I typically would not even be drawn to, but I did use various fluorescent colors as well as red and a darker green and regular green. It's just unique. I'm gonna get a little bit closer. Okay, so this one, I had seen one of the fluid artists and they would lay out the colors in lines on the canvas and then they would put bubble wrap on top and they'd slowly peel the bubble wrap off. And I really liked, it gave this, it just kind of conveyed this look of petals. If you could see a little bit closer, I was just like, oh, that's so cool. And to me, I am more about the color, just getting some nice color on a canvas. And of course, this represents to me just flowers in the sky. So this one is one of my Dutch pours. I've done quite a few and I have scraped quite a few off the canvas because they look terrible. I've also gone with a lot of where I just would get my big brush and brush over everything and call it a day so that I had a nice pretty canvas, and I'll come back to it and put something on the background. But this one I really like. I feel like it looks kind of like sea creatures or abalone shells. And of course what I did is I put the colors from one corner of the canvas to the upper corner of the canvas. And then I put a line of color, blew it over so that it helps the colors blend, and I've also heard that it helps create cells. Overall, this is one of my favorites because I thought it came out really nicely. So I've been practicing this swipe technique, and I had a background where the painting didn't come out well, so I got my big brush and just blended everything, called it a day. It dried up pretty well, and probably a week or two later I decided to try out some swipes. To me it looks kind of like a school of fish. It does have a very flowy feel, like in the sea and everything that moves in the sea. I had thought, hey, do I put eyes on these little creatures so they look like fish? But I don't want to mess it up. And as with all abstract art, it's kind of up to the viewer to decide what they think it is. I did use the swipe recipe, which is made from Amsterdam black and white, or black or white, and water. I believe I use 4 parts. Okay, I'm not going to give you the recipe because I want to make sure I'm giving you the right recipe. So it's very watery, but I did like that there were some areas that were pretty nice as far as the lacing and the cells. And in some cases, you know, like most of my lacing comes out really small like that. So it's nice to see some lacing that came out a little bigger. And as soon as I get that recipe, I will share that with you. So this is another Dutch pour. I did use some fluorescent pink, so it really came up with a nice bright flower looking petals. And what I do when I lay out the paint, what I found works is to kind of keep the greens separate on the left hand side, and then on the right hand side, just probably a quarter of an inch away, I will lay out the colors across this way, kind of all the way down. And when I blow it out, it feels like it just keeps the green a little more to the left to pick up and create more of a look of leaves rather than just to keep that separate. For this one, I was using my hair dryer that I got from the salon, and I thought it did a pretty good job, but it's a very expensive hair dryer, and I decided to just go ahead and purchase my own, which the one I'm using is about $17 from Amazon, and a lot of people use that. I will list that in the description if you'd like to know which one I purchased. Okay, so here's an example of one of the landscapes I've done. And what I did, I did the sky. I laid out the colors, and then after that, I tilted it to make it look like clouds. But when I laid out the paint, I tried to create kind of a cloudy look. And I used the cerulean blue, white, and silver. After that was in place, I laid out the green in lines. And I don't know, I think I laid them out straight, kind of horizontally. But you never know when you start to tilt colors what exactly might happen, at least at my stage of knowledge. I put a little path or the sand in gold, which ended up being a nice contrast with the silver in the sky. And for the sea, I did a layered cup, and I poured out the paint in just kind of a way to create some conveyed movement of water. It's pretty simple, and again, I'm just learning this, but for me, I'm pretty much about color, and I had some positive feedback because I think they understood this as a landscape. It looks nice and cheery, so I like that I can convey that through artwork. So what I've been doing, rather than creating 3, 4, or 5 cups, layered cups, I will create a cup with maybe 10 layers, 12 layers, and I will do various pours from the same cup. And I'll go ahead and kind of demonstrate. So maybe I'll put a pour here, and then I lift the cup, or actually I just kind of drag the cup, pour, drag, pour, 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 pour. So I feel like it helps to keep the design elements on the canvas where there's more design elements, because there's so many different pours, and it does keep them, I think, on the canvas, and I think that was really cool. One of my favorites. Again, I am at a point where I kind of go, okay, how would I do that again? And I have not filmed any of my artwork or the process at all, because I don't have all the equipment needed, such as a tripod or overhead tripod. But I definitely would like to make more like this. So because I have not tracked every single method, I kind of go, okay, how did I do this? Pretty much, I believe I did at least 1 or 2 cups layered, and I did the numerous pours. For this one, because the size of this canvas is 16 by 20, I probably did at least 10, 12, 15 little petals, and then I tilted it. There's a lot of gold in there, which I really like, and I just really like the colors on this. It always is. I'm really pleased whenever the colors stand out, like the turquoise and the color that's kind of like a light turquoise color. When they pop, I just think, okay, that's it. I have succeeded. I'm gonna get a little bit closer. When I think about which ones are my favorite, this is one I really like to just hang on to. So about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I signed up for Olga Soby's, it's called Fluid Art Mastery class, and I paid the amount and I instantly had access to a number of videos. I go through the course like one step at a time. It's not where you just kind of jump in and do whatever you want. There is a cadence to it, and I can go back and watch them at any point in time. She does it in a way where it helps build a person's knowledge. This was the third, fourth, fifth, probably about the 5th painting I've done. The one thing, because with acrylic paint, when it dries, it can get much darker. And the background on this is not black. It's actually kind of a darker purple. But it definitely got much darker through the drying process. And though I still think it's cool, it does have some nice lacing. This is a 10 by 10. I ended up getting some smaller canvases because I think that if a person has on their wall a collage of paintings, a smaller one might be better. And also just, I had a number of different thoughts behind doing this, and we'll kind of see how it goes. But I like it. I like this one. I feel like the look that I get from using Olga's recipe is just a little more elegant. So far, the paintings you've seen, the paint's pretty heavy, and I think that somehow maybe using thinner paints, and maybe that is key to getting more of an elegant look, which is really, really nice. Though at this point, I'm going to continue using both of my recipes, the one from Olga, and then, which isn't my recipe, it's Olga's recipe, but also the one that is the Floetrol recipe.